The note was already there when I woke up. Not slipped under the door, not taped to the fridge. It was placed carefully beside my keys, neatly folded, centered, like someone wanted to make sure I wouldn't miss it. It said only 3 words. You forgot again. My stomach tightened because I hadn't forgotten anything. I stood there longer than I should have, staring at the paper like it might explain itself if I waited long enough. The handwriting wasn't mine. It was too controlled, too patient. I picked it up and turned it over. Blank. No name, no signature. Just those 3 words, quietly accusing, calmly confident. I looked around my kitchen. Everything was perfect. The chair I usually leave pulled out slightly was pushed all the way in. The mug I used before bed had been washed, dried, and placed upside down on the rack. The counter was wiped clean, cleaner than I ever leave it. That's when I felt the first real wave of unease. Not fear, awareness. Someone hadn't rushed. They'd taken their time. I checked the clock. 6:18 a.m. My bedroom door was open. I always close it before sleeping. Always. I walked back into the bedroom slowly, scanning the floor, the corners, the window. Nothing disturbed. The bed was made, too neatly. I don't make my bed in the morning, not since my husband died. That habit left with him. I told myself not to overreact. People forget things. People misremember. That explanation was easier, safer. So I folded the note and slipped it into my pocket, grabbed my keys, and left for work. Or at least, I tried to. The car wouldn't start. The engine turned, but it wouldn't catch. I sat there gripping the steering wheel, listening to the familiar failure sound echo in the quiet morning. After a few tries, I stopped. That's when my phone vibrated. A reminder notification popped up. Car maintenance, today. I frowned. I don't use reminders. I never have. I checked the app. There it was, scheduled for today, time stamped 5:30 a.m. I was asleep at 5:30 a.m. At least, I thought I was. I took a cab to work that morning. All day I felt off balance, like my routine had been nudged slightly out of alignment. Not enough to collapse, just enough to make me question myself. Had I scheduled that reminder and forgotten? Had I moved the mug? Had I left the door open? By the time I got home, exhaustion had replaced curiosity. I wanted the day to be over. When I stepped inside, the smell hit me first. Lavender, the same cleaner I used years ago, before my hands started aching too much. I hadn't bought it in months. The living room lights were on. I never leave them on during the day. I stood frozen in the doorway, listening. Nothing. No footsteps, no movement, just silence. Arranged silence. On the coffee table sat another note. This one unfolded. You seem tired this morning. I cleaned a little. My heart began to pound. Not fast. Heavy. I walked through the apartment carefully. Nothing was missing. Nothing broken. But everything felt curated, as if someone had walked through my life and adjusted it gently, thoughtfully, without asking. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay in bed with the lights off, staring at the ceiling, replaying the day again and again. At 1:42 a.m., I heard it. The softest sound. Metal. Keys. Not my keys. Someone testing the lock. Once. Then again. Slow, careful. Whoever it was wasn't nervous. They were checking, confirming. Then nothing. No entry, no retreat. Just the knowledge that they could. The next morning, my phone was charging in a different outlet. Same cable, same charger, different place. I checked my settings. Location services, off. I never turn them off. I scrolled through my phone. Photos, messages, notes. Everything intact, except one thing. The picture I'd taken 2 nights earlier of the locked front door. Proof. It was gone, deleted. I called my sister. Casual conversation, careful tone. I didn't mention the notes, or the keys, or the reminders. I asked one question instead. Did I ever talk about needing help? She hesitated. Not really, she said. Why? No reason, I replied. But the pause had already said too much. That evening, I found the envelope, placed neatly on my dining table. Inside were printed pages, my schedule, my phone usage, my calendar. Highlighted, annotated, organized. Someone had studied my life. On top was a note. You've been distracted lately. We're just trying to help. We. My hands shook as I sat down. This wasn't one person acting alone. This was planned. I didn't call the police. Not yet. Because I didn't have proof of a crime. Only proof of intention. And intention, I was learning, could be far more dangerous. I decided to do something different. I stopped following my routine. I left work early, took a different route home, turned my phone off completely. When I returned that night, the apartment was untouched. No notes, no changes, just quiet. That confirmed it. They were tracking me. Not the house, me. At 11:17 p.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. You weren't where you were supposed to be today. My chest tightened. I typed back slowly. I decide where I'm supposed to be. The typing dots appeared, paused, then disappeared. No reply. I didn't sleep that night either. I sat at the kitchen table, lights on, waiting. At 3:06 a.m., the message came. We need to talk. Tomorrow. Then another. This doesn't have to be difficult. That's when the truth settled in fully. They weren't hiding anymore. They were escalating. At exactly 6:30 a.m., the doorbell rang. I hadn't slept. I stood slowly and looked through the peephole. There were 3 people standing outside, all smiling, all familiar. All people who had once told me, if you ever need anything, just let us know. And that's when I understood something terrifying. They weren't waiting for permission. They believed. They already had it.